I always feed the chickens the tomatoes that aren't pretty enough to sell, and look, a tomato plant sprouted right by their enclosure. They planted a tomato. I'm actually going to remove it though because the leaves are toxic and I don't want them getting a hold of it. See, that was a close one. It's so late in the season that I'm just going to toss it. If it was spring or early summer, I would totally plant this thing somewhere else, but it's the end of the season. So it goes in the burn barrel. Well, the time has finally come. It's late summer, so the potatoes should be ready to be harvested. Let's take a look. You can see all of the vines have died, so that's a good sign that they should be ready. Hey look, sunflowers decided to sprout in here. So we're gonna dig these up, see how they're doing. Don't mind the little bit of weeds in here. There's a million things to do, so I'll get to those when I get to those. So first things first, you're going to want to use this kind of fork to dig up your potatoes. It works a lot better than this one. One, because for obvious reasons the dirt will fall just right through there, which is really nice. And with this one you can kind of like scoop it in and sift through the dirt and it'll find the potatoes for you, whereas this kind it'll just pull everything up. So this is just a lot easier to use. Now when you put it into the dirt, you do want to be careful. You don't want to stab the potato, but if you do, we'll talk about curing the potatoes afterwards, so as long as it's nothing too serious, you should be fine. If it's just a little scrape, you can get it to scab over. Usually, if not, just make sure that's one of the first ones you eat. Alright, so let's take this over, and then I'm going to go get some baskets to put the potatoes in. Oh, and if you want to see how to grow them so that way you're prepared for next spring, I have a video on that too, so make sure you check that out on my channel. Ooh, soon I can put all these out for decorating. I have a video on this too, how to grow them and when I pick them. Check that out. Alright, so we'll start with these, and then if a ton of them end up being ready, I'll go get some wooden crates to keep them in too. I got these from the dollar store. It's just laundry baskets, as you can see. A really cheap, easy way to do this. And it's nice because it's well ventilated. You don't want to put your potatoes in a bin without ventilation or they're going to rot and they're not going to cure properly or store properly. So make sure it has holes. So I did a few different varieties. I did Eva potatoes, which is a really nice white variety. You can use it for all kinds of different things, for cooking, baking. It's a really good baked potato. It's really good for making French fries, potato chips. Basically anything you want to do with a potato, it's a great one for that. And I also did some blue varieties and some red. And I will admit I'm a little bit nervous because I'm slightly behind on this, but it should be okay. And it's also been very, very dry. If you've been following along, you'll know we were in a very, very bad drought this year. So although I tried to keep these grow bags watered, I'm still a little bit nervous, so we'll see. Ooh, well this one looks good. Oh, and when you're first harvesting them, you do not want to spray them off or wash them off with water. Don't do that until right before you're going to eat them, because obviously if you make them damp and wet, it's going to increase the chances of them rotting because of the moisture. So these are the Eva potatoes. Fun fact, if you're new here, you don't know this yet, but my dog's name is Eva. Her nickname's Monkey too. So don't get confused if you hear me call her multiple things. She answers to all her nicknames. Oh man, I stabbed that one. It's okay though. Look at these ones. Oh, you want to know a fun fact? So last year when I did this, I put a picture of them on my farm page for advertisement, obviously, and I shared it to some of the local pages around here so people knew that I'd have potatoes in a couple weeks once they're done curing. And this random lady, I don't know why she thinks it's like so hard to grow a good potato, because I was really lucky last year and I had a lot of really large, gorgeous looking ones. And she basically commented on my post and accused me of buying them from the store and trying to resell them and pretend that I didn't grow them, which I am so against and I would never do. Now, obviously she doesn't know me personally, so... But that's another thing, you shouldn't just make assumptions about people you don't even know. But anyways, I don't know why she did that or thought that, and she needs to get her facts straight, because she was like, this is fake, this isn't even the time of year that you harvest them. You harvest them when it's cold. You don't have to prove yourself to anyone, so don't think that you have to. But I was like, you know, I run a business, I don't want people slandering my image. So I put on pictures of the whole operation. I put on pictures of when I first started growing them and they were just itty bitty little vines. And I put on pictures of when they were blooming and told her all these facts about them. And then of course she did not say another word. But it's like, what's wrong with people? Like, come on, seriously. Stop being so negative. But yeah, don't let people bully you on the internet. As long as you know the truth, that's what really matters. But in that case, it was like, that lady was just making herself look like a fool, because she was saying things that weren't even close to being true. Don't pretend to be an expert if you don't even have your simple facts straight. But yeah, I just thought that was a funny story, and that made me think about it. I doubt it'll happen again this year, though. Oh, and another funny story from last year's potato harvest, although in the moment it wasn't funny, but now it is. So last year after I harvested all the potatoes, it was a very, very heavy container of them that I was carrying to the house. And let me show you so you can get a visual on it. I was walking around the pool area with the box, and the next thing you know, the whole bottom of the box just collapsed and potatoes were everywhere. A few of them sadly went into the pool and it was a disaster. But luckily the ones that fell, besides the few that went into the pool, most of them were okay, so I was able to box them back up again, but it took a while and I was pretty sore after that. But yeah, crazy things happen when you harvest potatoes. Oh, and if you're new to this, you probably already know this because I feel like it's just common knowledge, but if you come across one that is entirely split like this one, it's not worth trying to save. Or if you have any that are green, you don't want to eat that. That's poisonous. But yeah, I'm really, really happy with the grow bags. They're so easy to plant in, and harvesting them is so easy. Instead of having to go and dig up the whole yard or a garden, you just get to sift through here. It is so easy. Ooh, big spider web. So to cure your potatoes so that way they can store properly, you're gonna wanna put them, like I said, in a well-ventilated container and put them somewhere cool and dark, like in your cellar if you have one, or a shed or a garage. You wanna keep it around 45 to 68 degrees Fahrenheit. Oh, these are the red ones. They look pretty good. And you wanna have, oh man, I completely broke that one. You wanna have relatively high humidity, and you wanna let them sit down there unwashed for about 10 to 14 days. And during that time, if you do accidentally scrape any while you're digging them up, as long as it's nothing major or too deep, they should scab over and heal, but I would still recommend that you eat that one first when the time comes. Oh, it looks like we got a lot of red ones. And just like anything, the homegrown stuff tastes so much better than what's at the store. Hi, monkey. So it's Eva the dog, and this is Eva the potato. And I highly recommend, if you're gonna dig up potatoes that you grow, do it on a day when it's nice and dry like this, because it's so much easier and they're a lot cleaner than if you do this after it rains. Okay, so we're done. It wasn't a huge yield, which I'm not too surprised about because of the drought, but everything I did get looks really, really nice. Lots of really good sizes. So overall, I'm pretty happy. Look how pretty the blue ones turned out. So these are gonna go into the basement. They're gonna cure for 2 weeks. And then I'll have some very happy customers to sell these to, and plus we'll keep some for ourselves too. And here's the sweet potatoes. I do have a video on my channel as well on how to grow these. They are pretty behind, but I was very late getting them because the nursery was behind. So we'll check back with these in a couple of weeks once the vines die off. Now, if I'm being honest, I am kind of worried about the sweet potatoes because, like I said, the drought's been so bad. But fingers crossed, there's nothing we can do about it at this point, so we'll just hope for the best and we'll see how they turn out. And now, since fall is finally in the air, I'll show you some of the other fall treats that we're selling to our customers this week.
Got a good video of it. Yeah, that's definitely.